The Israeli military also announced overnight that it launched an aerial strike on an underground compound at a mosque in the occupied West Bank that it believed contained a terror cell. And as airstrikes persist, a top official with Hezbollah has threatened that Israel will pay a price if it initiates a ground offensive in the Gaza Strip, announcing yesterday that his militant group based in Lebanon is already, quote, in the heart of the battle, end quote. Netanyahu responded this morning telling soldiers along the northern border of Israel, quote, if Hezbollah decides to enter the war, it will miss the second Lebanon war. That would be its biggest mistake ever. We will cripple it with a force it cannot even imagine, end quote. Joining me now from Lebanon is someone who knows a great deal about all of this, NBC News foreign correspondent, my friend Matt Bradley. Matt, there's a lot that I want to unpack here with you. We're seeing what could be escalating into a conflict affecting the whole region. There are two things that are happening. One is where you are in Lebanon. The other one is when I heard the news of the airstrikes in the West Bank, I asked one of my producers, I haven't heard of airstrikes in the West Bank in a very long time, and she said not since 2006. So we have a one-front war in the south, and we have two potential more fronts.
Yeah, and then we have our war. We have our front right here, and then we have the right in the border behind me between Israel and Lebanon, and that's been heating up. We now have 24 Hezbollah fighters have been killed so far in the past 2 weeks, 5 of them just in the past day. So clearly we're seeing this going from a simmer into a boil, and it looks like it could raise up even further. But Ali, the really interesting thing about all this is even as we're seeing a rapid increase in violence, the tempo of all of this is heating up. We're still seeing both sides showing restraint, and that's because on some level, there are rules of engagement, informal ones, that govern the way Hezbollah fights with Israel and Israel fights back with Hezbollah. And so far, both sides seem to be dancing according to this choreography that was set all the way back in 2006 when Israel launched a war into Lebanon fighting against Hezbollah. And, you know, that was a really crippling, devastating war, and one that neither side wants to repeat. But as you mentioned, this really goes beyond what is happening here at the border, what is happening in the West Bank. It envelops the entire region, and that's why we're hearing so much concern out of Washington. Antony Blinken has been expressing his concern. And I actually spoke with an imam here in southern Lebanon. He's not affiliated with Hezbollah, but he's in a very good position. He's very popular, in a very good position to give us the temperature of the feeling of what's going on here. Here's what he had to say.
Do you think that Israel is afraid of Hezbollah and the power of the axis of resistance?
Absolutely. They say that if Hezbollah enters, it will be Armageddon for Israel. It knows that the entrance of Hezbollah will change the balance and the rules of engagement entirely.
So you heard my reference there to the axis of resistance. Now, that's not necessarily a household term in the U.S., but here in the Middle East, especially in Hezbollah territory, that's referring to a loose confederation or sort of a coalition of different forces, militant groups like Hezbollah here in southern Lebanon and Hamas in the Gaza Strip, as well as Iran and Syria's Bashar al-Assad, the Houthi rebels in Yemen, all of whom are against Israel, against Sunni powers like Saudi Arabia, and somewhat either totally controlled or somehow, benefiting from Iran. So yes, there is, Iran has its friends in the region, and it's been spending the last 2 weeks trying to shore up those alliances in preparation for a broader war.